Okay, cool.
Everybody, we are back. Kunile, just before the break, you touched on how you don't fear death now, sort of inevitable. Um, I don't know if it's just this post-pandemic world, the fact that death was like everywhere around you, all media, social media, and so forth. Um, I'm sure post 2020 changed a lot of people's perception on death. Um, what I wanna get into, man. Your your perception, your work, no? Your artwork. It has a I there's no real social commentary there and so forth, and it has its own sort of personality. You are such a deep and layered person, but your art. Explain to me, how does that work? Eh? You I mean, I can think of
Oh,
half a
wait,
dozen.
Mama.
Yeah, man. So how do you is that intentional?
I mean, my work is also layered in all the ways. Just like it's just very personal. It's all about um, me, my internal um, how to say, yeah, my internal world, which is full and rich and varied. I mean, if if I look throughout, my trajectory with art, I've changed styles. I went from abstract to um, almost figurative with collage. And integrating those two together and adding text as at some point. But my work has always been about me and just me trying to figure out how how life, how nature works, and like my part in the whole thing. And I've never had the desire, like a true desire to like make work that comments on anything other than my perspective of
Yeah, man.
things. So like,
Yeah, man.
anything outside of myself.
Yeah, man.
And at first like it was not so intentional, and then came a point where like the industry tries to get you to comment on like social politics or the things outside of ourselves, and like and then I intentionally didn't want to do that after thinking about it a lot, and I just have nothing to say
Yeah.
through my art, but I have a lot to say through like like conversations, yes, but I've never, it never felt right to put it in like the work that I do.
That's super interesting. That's
Mm,
actually I think that's actually quite profound, I would think, because well, maybe I'll explain, but I just think it's
mm.
kind of profound that
Please explain. Please explain.
for my side, I find it and I can only talk from my perspective. Everything about me is political. Everything. My existence is political. My so-called race identity, or colored, it's political. So when I sit down and conceptualize anything, this is even doing illustrations, this whatever, any form of art that comes through me, um, comes through this sort of political vehicle, and for me, it's really difficult to divorce the two, and it actually cost me work as in like clients, and so because I find it really difficult to sort of change. In fact, I've actually stopped that shit. Sort of like change my thing to sort of adapt this guy. I like fuck you. I'll just go broke. I can't do it. messes my brain, and I'm at an age now where I just drew the line.
Yeah, and like
so I
it's so
find it.
important to be authentic, like whatever it is that you find like comes out as like true to you, and not trying to change what you do based on anything other than like your like intuitively
Yeah,
your
man.
so like yeah.
No,
Whether you
I get you there.
yeah, whether you choose to do political work or you choose to see yourself through a political lens, if that's authentic to you, then like it comes easy. For me, it just never came easy. And like it would have meant me now trying to,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
do
Sort of.
something that um
Yeah, yeah. No, no, fully, man. There was Ahmed, there's a bunch of things I wanna talk about, but I'm just looking at time and so forth and so forth. And just to all new listeners, I always try to keep the podcast to just about under an hour, and that's just so I can keep listeners. I always feel if I go a bit longer, very few people
I
have
love long
that's
content. I watch
um
3 hour content.
yeah, yeah.
Like
The the advertisers love it too, for sure. But like the stats show me, I follow. This is also something that I've changed a lot over 2020. Is that I follow numbers, so I'm constantly looking at so I'm talking specifically with the podcast to see how many the how what's the average, the word for it, length that the people will watch a single podcast. That's also why I try to get like the personal stuff in the beginning, and sort of like to me the better content always comes later. But yeah, so now yeah, everything is based on what the stats are telling me. And I also think the quality sometimes the recording has a bit to do with that. But anyway, um, what I wanted to say about all these other things that that you said, there was a few things about um, how artists now sort of or measure what people use to measure their success. I think that that's something I'm struggling in my personal life. I don't know what success is anymore. And it actually fucks with me because I don't. It's always cool if you have sort of a marker to say, okay, now I achieved that, and I can move on. I don't know anymore, and that's something heavy, man. And the other thing about sort of where you how you looked at I'm a death sure, but I'm just gonna say adversity just to throw a bit of a broader blanket so it's inclusive of a few more other people. But a lot of people do I'm talking creatives do think a lot about death. But what I because to me that's the most dramatic or the most or just bear with me, how you conceptualize that I think is also something else. And then actually go out and talk about it and so on. And I mean, I see your social media feeds and how people respond. I think that's also something really worth. A guest of mine, I think a month ago, 2 months ago, was also keen to do a podcast recording on that, on healing, on and how artists are dealing with adversity and creatives really, because he was more of a designer. But it's the same thing. I think those points really resonate with me. So just to throw something now on top of that, and you can comment with all of the above. Now we have this AI or fourth industrial revolution, which is like landed, it is here, it is happening. That's something that's also depressing the shit out of a lot of people. I think that's more because they're a bit naive and a bit more ignorant to some information, but still, I get it. I get it. I totally get it. And it's not just artists; it's many other. Um, so what's your take on all of that, man? What's your take on moving forward? You being as honest as you can about everything. Do you think it's a good thing? And how are you sort of adapting to this new Let me just call this crazy ass reality that we all
New Earth. It's New
this
Earth
new
now.
earth. Okay, that's the word.
We're
No,
in
I'm gonna use it.
5D New Earth.
New earth. I'm actually gonna write it down. Okay, I'm gonna use it from now on. New earth. Sure. What's your
Yeah.
take on that?
So, picking up from the AI thing, I mean, with that and literally everything, like I now, like no, like being fearful is like never never the right way to like look at things, or even it's never the right point to start even coming up with solutions for anything if the first thing is fear. And I think um like people fearing, having a lot of anxiety about AI and the dangers that the people are talking about. I feel like that's just like there's just been a lot of fear mongering, and like we're so used to um just easily falling into that. But like, and now one thing I've learned is we need more optimism just in as a culture, as a society. We need more utopian thinking, and like, and I mean, ideas about AI have been around for so long, and like there used to be a fair ratio of utopian optimism with like technology and AI and all the things. And I mean, as much as we can um, go through all the disadvantages of technologies, and I mean, we've seen with the internet that there was a wave of people saying, oh, bad, social media bad, and like and just for me, looking back at things, we always come to a place where like we get over the fears. And like for me, I feel blessed to live in a generation where like the internet exists, and
Yeah, me
all
too.
of these this like from my experience and lived, like from my lived experience, not from like what I hear from other people or what I can conceptualize on
Me
a bigger
too.
scale. It's brought more good than like, wow, I can't even, like, even us doing this right now, you know? Um, like, so I think even with AI, like, we need to get over the wave of like fear mongering, and like just be optimistic about it. There's so much um gold or so much like opportunity for like new to come into the new earth with like, and like tools like that are just like the internet democratized, and social media democratized like platforms for, and like there's been a plurality and multiplication of individual voices, like people being able to like express themselves and also like share ideas on a global scale. And with AI, it's like now, think like right now, like for instance, music, making music or making any like, since we're artists, any creative thing, like making a film, for a long time has been that thing of like, who that you need a lot of money, you need a lot of resources, everything you need a lot of resources to do. But like with AI tools, it just cuts down, and like speeds up productivity flow, and also like gives a lot of people resources, people who have great ideas, but
Yeah.
not necessarily
Yeah.
all the resources in the world to put those great ideas into form. A tool is a tool. Like, you can't, it it's weird to say good or bad. Like, a kitchen knife is a good tool to cut up stuff and make food. It can be a good tool to do harm to something as well. So, like, these things, they're not personalities. They're not
Yeah, I like that.
like, to
Yeah, it's
say,
clever.
like the big
Clever.
bad AI. Sure, there will be people with enough resources to, like, do harm to the masses, but, like, from an individual perspective, we always have the power to choose how we interact with literally anything and anyone in the world, like with the world and the things that we have. Um, so yeah, I see it like that. It's a great opportunity. I can't wait. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, just like going through, seeing all the really, really quick evolution of the different tools that are being made using AI. It's just like making so many of, like, my ideas suddenly don't feel so far
Mm.
from even
I
being.
can
Now
totally
it's just
relate
a
to
matter
that.
of, like, what do
Mm.
I want to focus
Yeah.
on now?
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, I have to wait for
Yeah.
this, to get, like, an editor. I have to
Yeah.
get a camera person,
Yeah.
like all those things.
No, fully,
So
fully,
it's
fully,
exciting.
fully. I just want
Mm.
to add on to that there, and I want to use this on this podcast as an example. I mean, I'm literally just using one device for that, and it's 116 episodes into it. What I love about technology is how it took, like you're saying there, how it almost allows you to dream, or rather make your
Mm.
dreams to come true.
Mm.
Especially how we stand and work with it. One thing well, I'm following. I haven't picked it up as much. I mean, maybe I should go to more art fairs, which I don't like. But anyway, another topic. We actually, I love that point. You covered on your previous episode. That was too dope, and that really hit because I was with you there. I was gonna say that, like, in, like, contemporary art. So we're talking guys making work now. Not a lot of people are collaborating with technology. Maybe it's too expensive. I know, like, 3D printing also offers a really interesting world, and really offers, like, yes, as I would say, another dimension to art making, or making art. But, like, or let me structure the question like this. Do you think there's more room for collaboration between creatives and technology? And sort of what type of collaboration? So this is, yeah, like I mentioned with the 3D printing, I think there's some really exciting things, and you can actually buy a 3D printer. As I saw one early on today. Um,
Mm.
so it's, I mean, it's still a bit pricey, but still. So yeah, what's your take on that?
I mean, for me, like, collaborating with tech. I mean, I've, like, for as long as I can remember, um, I feel like, like, that's let me, like, for instance, us as a society and humans, in when we collaborate, and also, I mean, we collectively are co-creating reality, right?
Yeah.
So collaboration, co-creation is like an integral part of the simulation that we live in, of
Mhm.
beyond the simulation, even, like, just life and existence. Like, everything is interconnected and always affecting each other and, like, working together. So, like, I feel like that's always been what would happen eventually. I mean, for me, the collaboration with technology, my interest came in a lot several years ago when I started looking more into what do they call generative art. So like there's been a whole movement. I would say that's like like the beginnings of AI art, but except like the artist would like create a code that would then make the artwork.
Yeah, man.
And then maybe you can collaborate more by like maybe giving the code like more leeway in like how to change it and stuff like that. And I've always found that so fascinating. And like AI is making it easier because now we don't have to learn to code to actually collaborate with the machine. And I think that's very exciting.
Yeah, man. That's I like what you said there. What on my side and what I'm trying to, and also just to all the listeners, like I'm really keen to collaborate on artists who are open to that. Um, like I'm building a platform with Gallery 360 Africa. Um, I believe that you can have. I want to build a platform that makes it easier for one to take all these ideas and actually sell it. I think that technology is just another point on collaborating with technology. Um, I've actually been following with the Cape Town Art Fair early on this year. It's sort of like nobody has really changed anything post COVID. It's just back to the same old, send out an email to your database, hoping that people come, that people dress up, drink. You spend I don't know how much money on booze and food to keep everybody there.
Yeah, I
Overpriced
can't believe
artwork.
at some point I wondered, should I go? Like, I don't even know where that thought came, but obviously I decided, nah, it's gonna be the same. Like, what am I expecting to see that I haven't seen before? Just be,
The same faces
yeah.
too. It's usually the same faces. And then you spend so much money on booze,
Yes,
like
on
a
on
lot of
on.
money on booze.
Like, I don't even drink booze, but I know for sure even water or tea would be like 10 times more expensive than it needs to be. And like beyond the fact that I can't afford that, even if I could, that is just like a silly thing. It's
I
like,
think it's so unnecessary. I think those costs are completely unnecessary. Even something like framing. If I was looking at the entire art ecosystem and just evaluating why do we need certain things, like why is there such a connection between wine and fine art. I don't think it's necessary. Everybody drinks red wine. um what I'm with it, just to furthermore that point on collaboration with technology, what I'm really focusing on is sort of just focusing on selling the art. So here you have the art, you have a platform to sell it, and that's our primary focus, to sell all the things. Like I mean, framing is so expensive, and there's an entire
yeah, I mean,
industry based off that. Why is that?
and
How is that
like,
shit necessary?
I mean, for me, like those were some of the things that I had to like really be honest with myself about when I finally stopped even bothering showing at exhibitions and like and realizing that like when things started picking up online and like seeing also that my clients most of them are overseas and like and also if I were to now exhibit in the industry at a gallery, um, the artist has to pay for the framing and you have to get the work there and get it back because they're not even going to try to sell it.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee. You have all the risks and they have zero risk
Yeah.
in giving you the opportunity to show your work and maybe it might sell. And it's like when we look at it, like we have without us, they have
It's
nothing to
nothing. They
sell,
have
right?
nothing.
So like why should I pay for you to, like, what are you bringing? We are the creators. We create the product. And if you are not even doing half your part, which is to make sure that you are selling, create a market if you don't have people buying whatever that is. Like, do something. Like, I can't
I
be
can't.
like
I'm with
putting
you.
all the risk, and you're putting, there's no risk for you. Me putting there and not selling, that's not a risk for you. That is just, you're even expecting it because like it's built into your whole system. And then my work ends up being just a decorative thing there because you're not even invested in trying to make sure that it sells, which is your job, not mine.
That's a very solid point there that you're making of like us taking all of the risks and then the gallery taking zero. We have the most to lose.
And then if it
There is
sells, then
nothing
you only take
worse.
half.
Then they still
Mm.
have audacity to take a percentage.
Yeah.
What I find really insulting in that system there, as you say, is that like without us, there's none of that other shit exists. All of a sudden, there's a food industry put on top of that. There's the wine
Mm.
industry is put on top of that. And
Mm.
if you have a physical show, there's always electricity. There's things like that. And I was surprised that comes out of the bite of the artist. The point the also the point about framing, which I find it ridiculous. And I actually want to take I want to take a punch at this, especially to artists who sort of up and coming and so forth. There's all these shows that you have where they have a call out for artists, and you must bring framed artwork, others they won't take your work.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
that system is like what are you
It's so fucked
saying?
up.
What are you doing here?
And
How is
it
that
starts
my
with like the students, even like even the competitions, like as a student, like they'll invite all this and you have to pay for all those things. And it's like, nah,
and at
no,
the end of the
no. And
day,
selling online, like I don't have to worry about that because anyway, framing it will make it more expensive to ship if I'm shipping it. And
yeah,
like the client has now the power to choose their own preferred frame. I don't have to. Why should I worry about the framing unless the framing is like an important part of the
yeah.
artwork? Why should that be part of my equation?
I'm with you there. Also another part about the selling and about the physical exhibition. I know that a lot of, and with myself included, the opening is usually where you do the most of the sales, and it sort of gets, unless you have certain clientele and the gallery calls or bring people and so forth. But it's usually the opening. And if you look at all the pomp and ceremony around that, most of the show is enjoyable that I've been to. The overwhelming majority, the majority of the people there is not going to buy shit. They're there for the wine, they're there for the party, and they're there for the
Yeah.
artist. Okay, now shop that, but then that's there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you want to have a party, then have a party. If you want to have a good time, then have a good time. I mean, like we all love that. But I think those two things, and selling art, do not go together. I don't see why I should allow a pomp and ceremony and all these other trinkets. I don't know why I should have all of these things in play in order for me to sell work. Because then you're not there to buy art, you're there to be entertained. And then if you want to be entertained by other stuff, they will sell you those things. I just think that system don't it doesn't work, and it's created in such a way. There's this narrative we pushed out, I think, over hundreds of years that's how you boom, that's how you gotta. There's a fellow artist. I actually want to get hold of him for this platform. He had to his work got accepted for some gig in the UK. Now salute to that. Big up my brother for that. But then you have to pay for your own plane ticket. So the the show in the UK uses you to get money, but I mean it just doesn't fucking work. So this is to revert back to the point I made earlier on about collaborating with technology and with AI, is that there are now tools where we can sort of like get rid of all of this shit over here. And this way everybody who's listening here, I want to do more work around that. I want my platform to be focus solely on selling art. So it'll be obviously how you present the work, and that's something we were looking at very closely. And then how to get it to certain people. Obviously, there's shipping and buying, but that's not really a biggie. But and then sort of to create a culture of how do I say, it's like when there's certain artists on here, you get a notification and so forth. There's little tricks and tools to do that. So I want conversations around that over there. One thing, just another point on your work, which like I love it, man. Like most of the guys that I talk to on this platform are not don't really use social media like you do. Like you specifically, this is the persona that I'm creating. Here's my work. Buy my fucking work. I find there's a lot of buffoonery around social media, and this buffoonery is recently capitalism, which we can talk about that. But I find all these things unnecessary. Let's get to the thing. Artists need to eat. We need to live. Let's focus on let's zone in on that over there, and not I just don't see the fucking need for another art fair. And then I'm always interested in those, like, who's paying these funders and sponsors and so forth that's giving money to these people? Like, how do they get their money back? If I'm giving you 100K, how the fuck do I get my money back? I don't see the economics makes no sense, which is why I'm.
It doesn't, right? Because and like, yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, when I was working for the project space and having to, like, organize for us to show at these events, I was shocked with like the amount of money that an institution or a gallery has to pay for that. Like, but I mean, there will always be a whole lot of money laundering whenever you are in an industry of overpricing things. And like, you'll go to all of them, and like most of the booths, they don't sell that many stuff, but the ones that sell are like, if you just sell one 13 million one artwork, and like, who's coming to buy it, like, for these bigger galleries, like, it's no longer about the art now. It's about the price tag, and like, like the opportunity for the money laundering. And like, which, I guess, talking about the price tags and stuff, which brings me to like now, on I've had to also, like, deconstruct my relationship with capitalism and like selling my work, because that's another thing that led to me to like now not no longer being able, or to to sell work the way that I was selling this, or rather having blocks to selling work, and then eventually coming to a point where like I was just creatively blocked because everything I did seemingly didn't like get the response that it had, that it should have. But then, coming to full circle to realizing that the worst thing that I I could put myself into is like making creating art with the end goal of like selling, especially like in a capitalist way. And so like I've had to really rethink like how we also, like, for me, the art, like there's a personal connection to it, even though there's also a healthy detachment. Like for me, the most important part of it is the process of creating. And and then once that's done, I literally won't see that artwork again until someone buys it and I have to take it out and give it to them, right? Um, so like I ended up having like an entire factory of artworks that were not sold, And also like, okay, they're not so. And then I also had to think, okay, with pricing as well, like that's a strange thing. Like it always makes me laugh that I can't even afford to buy my own artwork right now. Well, like what, why, like does that make sense to me? Like, and also like having to like confront how arbitrary the price is as well, and what is it based on really. um Besides a system that was already there, obviously coming from like university and like the industry and whatnot, but like is it really realistic? Like um and like what does it mean also to me personally, like because like so I've had to just really think of that, and like how the industry has created like a situation where someone would see an artwork, maybe for example of mine, that they deeply connect to and they would love to buy, but because their pockets aren't deep enough, they can't have it. And they can't have it, and now it's just going to sit somewhere hidden forever.
That is such
um
a that is such an unfair system. I fully
yeah,
I fully get you there, and I don't see why we
and
can't compromise.
yeah, exactly. And like, and I still don't know what new way we're gonna do it. But so right now, all all of my work is on a like offering. Like you make your offer, and I've come, to peace with that. I'm happy about that. But I do see a lot of people still finding it difficult to wrap their heads around that, because like someone would ask, um, I really want to buy this. How much was it? So that I don't, offer you too little. And I'm
Let's
like,
actually pick up
get
that
like, don't,
let's
yeah.
actually pick up that point, because that's a super relevant point over there, on the pricing of artwork, and why all of a sudden there's this magical rule made up. I don't know about who said it, that you can outprice yourself from a market. You must out. There's always these. I find it so crazy that there's no set formula to price your work. But if you step out of certain lines, ooh, let's actually pick up that.
Mm.
I'm gonna let me just close this session and start a new session, and we'll pick up that topic, yeah, man.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna make tea now.
All right.
Be right back.